Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the virtual design update meeting for the Chateau Forest Area Drainage and Paving Project. I'm Kenya Williams with Houston Public Works, and I'm excited to have you all here with us tonight as we dive into the latest updates on this important project. Thanks for joining. Just a quick housekeeping note. We ask that you hold all questions until the end of the presentation when we'll have a dedicated Q&A session. Many of your questions may be answered as we go through the updates, so stay tuned. With that, let's dive in. Joining us today is Tanu Hiremith, Assistant Director of Houston Public Works. She's here to introduce the amazing team behind this project. Take it away, Tanu.
Thank you, Kenya. Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us. I'm pleased to introduce our amazing project team. From our city team, I have Doa Hamdeen, who's our project manager, Ravida Ayub, our project lead, Sherry Kang, managing engineer over the team that is managing this project, and we have our consultants, Asani Consultants, and our project managers are Rahul Menon and Ernie Zhao. Thank you. Kenya, you can take it back.
Thanks, Tanu. Here's what's in store for tonight's presentation. First, we'll dive into the details of the project. Then we'll bring you up to speed on the latest design updates and what's coming next. And finally, we'll wrap things up with a Q&A session where you'll have the chance to get your questions answered. Let's get started. This transformative drainage project is all about protecting homes, enhancing infrastructure, and boosting our community's resilience. Here's what's coming. Improved drainage with stormwater trunk lines along Chateau Forest Drive, 7 upgraded outfall pipes into White Oak Bayou, new water lines along Chateau Forest, rebuilt pavement where stormwater upgrades are happening. Backed by $12 million, the project is now in design phase and construction begins this fall. Stay tuned. Houston Public Works will host a how to prepare for construction meeting so you're fully informed and ready. Leading the charge is our dedicated project manager, Doa Haddad, and we're excited to partner with you on this journey towards a stronger, more resilient community. Here with us tonight to share the exciting design updates today are Rahul and Ernie with Asani Consultants LP. We're thrilled to have you both here with us. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, Kenya. Thank you for the introduction, both Kenya and Tanu. And good evening, everybody. Rahul Menon here, project manager at Asani Consultants. We're the lead design consultant on this City of Houston project. And over the next couple of minutes, I'll kind of go through some of the slides and provide you more details on the City of Houston project. Why we're doing this project, what issues we have looked at, and how do we actually resolve some of these issues. Next slide. So we've actually noticed, I know Kenya walked you through some of the project limits. And when we look at the streets, we've actually found out a lot of issues on both on the drainage and on the paving side. On the Chateau Forest Drive, for example, you see some pictures that we have clicked on the field. We've seen some cracks in the pavement. The overall paving condition is pretty poor on many of those streets. You do not have sidewalks on most of the streets in the project area. Next, please. Drainage is one of the main concerns that we have in this area. The streets, or most of the streets, are actually poorly graded. So you have water logged low spots, as you can see on the image on the top left. And as also we have insufficient inlets throughout the project area. Some of these inlets are not able to take or incorporate, do not incorporate, or they do not convey enough flow, and which results in street ponding on many of these streets. We've also identified some water lines along some of the streets which are old and they're nearing the end of their design life, and those they've led to many maintenance issues we have faced in the recent past. The exhibit, if you can just go back to the previous exhibit here. So the exhibit that you see here points to where the project area is. And the streets that have been marked in gray is where we're going to be rehabilitating the pavement. These improvements are largely restricted to Deirdre Ann, Chateau Forest Drive, Tall Pines to your right, and Par 4. Since we're doing a full street reconstruction, some of these streets, you'll see sidewalks being added as well to some of those streets. Next slide. So as I mentioned, sidewalks, 5 feet sidewalks have been proposed on both sides of the street. We're also proposing ADA compliant wheelchair ramps at intersections for the safety of pedestrians. Next slide. The water lines along Deirdre Ann and Chateau Forest Drive were found to be more than 50 years old. They're almost at the end of their service life, and we have proposed new water lines to replace these. The existing water lines are cast iron, and we are replacing them to the PVC, which has a longer life and slightly relatively cheaper maintenance cost. Next slide. This slide actually shows you the storm improvements and which streets we are proposing them on. As Kenya pointed out, the main aim here is to convey more flow to White Oak Bayou and minimize or alleviate some of the flooding concerns that we have in this area. So the streets that are marked in green is where we have storm sewers being proposed. On Deirdre Ann, we have storm sewer. Deirdre Ann and Chateau Forest, we have storm sewers that augment the existing storm sewers. So we actually have 2 trunk lines along these 2 streets, which convey or help in conveying more flow to White Oak Bayou and thereby reducing some of the flooding that we see in this area. And in addition to that, the Par 4 and Tall Pines to your right is also, they are also streets where we're actually proposing storm sewers. So in all, in addition to the storm sewers, we're actually proposing outfall improvements at 7 different locations along White Oak Bayou. And in combination, all this helps us to convey more flow to White Oak Bayou, which in turn reduces some of the flooding concerns that we have in this area. Next slide. So this is actually a graphic rendering that shows the proposed improvements and what their footprint is within the right-of-way. The standard right-of-way that we have in this area is about 60 feet. And as you can see on some of the streets, or most of the streets, we actually have a proposed storm sewer under the travel lane. We have curb inlets that connect to these storm sewers, and they help in conveying the runoff to the ultimate outfall. On the paving side, we are reconstructing some of these streets with new pavement. We're putting in sidewalks. We are also replacing the water lines on some of the streets as well. Now, the paving improvements would also include wheelchair ramps. We're also replacing some of the street lighting. We do have existing street lighting here, but they do not conform to the latest City of Houston guidelines. So we are replacing these to conform to the latest standards. Next slide. This is a typical section that shows the standard placemaking. This is a typical section for Deirdre Ann and Chateau Forest Drive. We have 2 13 feet wide travel lanes on these 2 streets. And we are also proposing 5 feet sidewalk on both sides. With the spacing between the sidewalk and the curb varies between 4 to 9 feet. And that's largely because when we were designing the sidewalk, we wanted to minimize any impacts to trees. So we do have sidewalks that the offset of the sidewalks from the curb varies between 4 to 9 feet. We do have proposed storm sewers in addition to the existing along these 2 streets. So 2 trunks that help in conveying more flow to White Oak Bayou. Next slide. This is a typical section on tall pines and Par 4. The main difference between the typical section on these 2 streets and the previous slide is we still have 13 feet travel lanes, but the spacing between the sidewalks and the curbs are more on these 2 streets. It's about 10 feet, so we do have more space and thereby providing a little bit more safety to bikers and pedestrians. Now, as part of the design, we have consulted arborists, to preserve as many trees as we can, even with these improvements. We have prepared a tree planting plan that would offset any kind of impacts to existing trees. And the replacement would be with the same caliper, meaning that it may not be the same trunk size, but overall we will try to match to the same trunk size that we are replacing the tree with. There won't be any impacts to trees outside the public right-of-way or drainage easements. So the exhibit that you see on the screen right now is Ridge Oak, where our storm sewers are going to be in a drainage easement, a City of Houston drainage easement, where we are replacing many of the trees, but then many of those replacement trees are also in the vicinity of that. Next slide. This shows the trees that will be replaced along Hidden Arbor, where we have an outfall pipe replacement, par 4, where we're planting more trees, as you can see, and then tall pines. So if you look at tall pines, you'll see more trees to be removed. The storm sewers that we have proposed on tall pines, the outfall pipes, they pass through a flood control owned property, but the city has a drainage easement here. So to install our storm sewers, we will be removing many of those trees, but they are not in the public right of way. They're actually in a flood control owned property. Next slide. To sum up the project, we are replacing about close to 7,500 linear feet of storm sewers. We are adding 7,200 linear feet of new sidewalks in the project area. We've identified about 77 trees that would be potentially be impacted, but then we are also replanting them to make sure we are offsetting any kind of impacts to such trees. We do not have any sanitary sewer improvements as part of this project, but there are some adjustments that need to be made to existing sanitary sewers within the project area. So we have all in all, about 450 linear feet of sanitary sewers that need some adjustments. We have 4,600 linear feet of water lines that will be replaced as part of this project, and almost a mile of new pavement that will be installed within the project area as well. Again, as part of the street improvements, we are adding in sidewalks and wheelchair ramps. We have about 34 ADA compliant wheelchair ramps that we'll be installing. We are adding about 40 new street lights within the project area and 35 new curb inlets that would help in conveying more runoff from the street down to White Oak Bayou. I'll hand it back to Kenya to see if she has anything to add, and I'm waiting to answer any questions that might come up.
Thank you. Thank you for those insightful updates. Your project is moving forward. We're in the home stretch. The design phase is nearly complete and construction is set to begin this fall. Houston Public Works will host a community meeting to help you get ready, stay informed, and know what to expect during construction, so stay tuned. Together, we are building a better Houston. We are always here to help. Have questions or concerns during the project? We've got you covered. Call 311 anytime for assistance. Prefer email? Reach us directly at engage@houstontx.gov. Your feedback matters. Let's stay connected. Before we wrap up, a big thank you. Let's take a moment to show some love to the incredible individuals and teams who made tonight possible. A huge thank you to the District Day staff and Councilmember Peck for their unwavering support. You make a difference every day. Shout out to our dedicated project team and the Houston Project team and Houston Public Works for their hard work and commitment to improving our community. And let's not forget our amazing public engagement team for making this meeting seamless and engaging. But most importantly, thank you. Your time, attention, and participation mean the world to us. Now we have one small favor. Spread the word. Share what you've learned with your friends and neighbors, and keep your community informed and empowered. It's Q&A time. One of the best parts about being here tonight is that you get exclusive real-time answers from our incredible project team. This is your moment to ask, clarify, and get the details straight from the experts. So don't be shy, fire away. And to lead us through this interactive session, I'm thrilled to introduce someone who knows how to keep the conversation flowing, Ryan Prillman from our outstanding public engagement team. Take it away, Ryan.
Thank you, Kenya. Greetings, everyone. I'm Ryan Prillman with Houston Public Works. Thank you for joining us tonight for the virtual design update meeting regarding Chateau Forest Project. And welcome to the Q&A session. This is your opportunity to connect with our team, ask questions, and share your thoughts about the design of this project. Your input is incredibly valuable, and we look forward to hearing from you. Submitting a question is simple. Just follow these steps. Click the Q&A icon on the right-hand side of your screen. It looks like a speech bubble with a question mark. Type in your question into the text box and hit send. You can submit questions anonymously, but we encourage you to include your name and email, especially if your question may need follow-up. While we wait for your questions to come in, just a quick reminder, tonight's Q&A isn't the end of the conversation. If you think of something later, feel free to email us at engage@houstontx.gov. Also, the recording of this presentation will be available to review in the coming days on the Houston Public Works YouTube channel. That being said, let's get started. All right, the Q&A is officially open, and so if you have any questions, feel free to type them in and ask away. All right, I have a question. Will the design include upgrades to street lighting or other utilities? Will the design include upgrades to street lighting or other utilities?
Yes. So this project, as we talked about in the presentation, they include drainage improvements. We have some water line replacement on some of the streets as well. And in addition to the street improvements or the pavement improvements, we are actually replacing the street lights on many of those streets as well.
Thank you. All right. Our next question, and you touched on it already, but will there be any landscaping or tree preservation?
Yeah, I think as part of the design, our main focus was to minimize any kind of impacts to existing trees. We have, we always wanted to preserve trees for any of these projects. So we've had an urban forester on our team, and we've consulted with them in detail. There were some trees which did have impacts, but our aim as part of the tree protection plan is to make sure we are replanting new trees to offset some of those impacts.
Thank you. All right, next question. We have a question here. When and where will a slideshow be available? Well, this particular presentation will be available in the next coming days on the Houston Public Works YouTube channel. All right. Let's see. Next question. Does this design include upgrades to traffic signals?
Because of the extent of the project, we do not have any existing signals within the project, and our project limits are actually largely restricted to neighborhood streets where they're mostly stop signs. There are no traffic signals, so we don't have any as part of this project.
Thank you very much. All right. Are there any other questions out there for us to answer? Your project team is here to answer any questions you may have about this project. Okay, so I have a question. So how does the pedestrian safety improve in the area here for this project?
That's something that we wanted to address as part of this project. So, as I mentioned in the presentation, most of the streets do not have sidewalks. So, as part of this project, we are actually providing 5 feet wide sidewalks on both sides of the street, and connecting those. We have wheelchair ramps at the intersections as well, which will largely help, for pedestrians to kind of navigate through the neighborhood. And most of the sidewalks are away from the curb, so that's how we were trying to address safety of pedestrians.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the, I have another question that came in. When do we anticipate holding the preparing for construction meeting?
So once the project goes to construction, once it's awarded, which will be in fall. So our fall is the last 3 months of the year. Before construction starts, we will host a meeting. So depending on when the project goes to construction, you will get a meeting notification, just like you did about this meeting tonight. And we will work with the council member's office. We'll work with Council Member Peck to help spread the word on when and where that will take place. But it will be towards the end of the year, towards the end of this year.
Thank you, Kenya. All right. Any other questions for our project team tonight? All right, last call for questions. Okay. Well, that wraps up our question and answer session for this meeting. On behalf of Houston Public Works, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to Councilmember Amy Peck and the entire District A staff, as well as the project team, the public engagement team, and most importantly, you, our community members and stakeholders, for taking time to join us tonight. Just a reminder, a recording of this presentation will be available soon on the Houston Public Works YouTube channel, so be sure to check it out and share with your neighbors. Until next time, thank you again and have a great night.